Hey guys, GameBoy30 here. Once again, we're back in Beam for another update preview of my pack update that's coming out eventually. Before we begin though, two things. First of all, I will be live tomorrow around 4 p.m. EST to do the January chill stream. That's right, better late than never. And second off, I am going to be moving house through the month of February and maybe even early March. So I may not do BeamNG content for those months, but I will still be alive. I have previewed or scheduled uploaded some Forza Horizon 5 content, so the channel will still be alive. It just won't be Beam focused because I'll be really busy moving stuff. So with that out of the way, let's begin with Blackmagic. See if you can figure out what's different about it. Also, this map is pretty new. Old Final is what, 13 this is? By me6, I think? 94% sure? I'm probably stupid about that, but there is a really good preset for racing this freestyle, and there's another freestyle with Ulturo stuck in the container. I love it. It's a very fun map. It's out now. It's been out for a couple weeks actually, so maybe 1 week, I forget. But go grab it. Fun to drive on. So yeah. I wasn't sure if I would do another one of these videos. You know, the preview videos. But then I did end up revamping and fixing and adding a lot more things, so it is worth a video. And I have a lot of trucks spawned on this map, so we have a lot of things to cover. Let's go ahead and give Blackmagic an absolute send. Oof. That's the best way to describe that crash. Oof. But you might be able to tell now. Let's take a quick look here. We have extra Swaybars. Yep. I managed to get the alternate Swaybar position in front of the rear axle to work perfectly fine. I had all the positioning correct, I just didn't name the nodes correctly, so I am very smart. I named the right Swaybar the left Swaybar. Just changing the names is all I had to do to get it to work perfectly. So you can have extra Swaybars on the regular Swaybars and even the Blaze long travel Swaybars. Of course, you don't need to have only... Well, you don't need to have the other Swaybars on as well. You can make it so you only have these Swaybars on the front ones there. And it'll work. They're fully functional. You can tune them in the slider menu. Also, this is a new engine. You may not realize, but let's just take a quick look over here. We go to the engine mods slot. That's new for this. We have the all-new Merlin customizable engine right beneath the Ford customizable engine. Enough people requested it that there is now the Merlin customizable engine, and it has a lot of the same great tuning and features that the Ford does. So let's take a look here. We can tune the engine efficiency, the friction, the idle and speed and behavior, the engine inertia, the engine weight even, and more stuff like that. Just things you would never really ever have access to before. And also, on the Ford 572 big block and anything that uses that same rev limiter, so the kerosene fuel system as well, you can now tune the RPM limit to go down even farther from 5,500 down to 4,500, just to give you more tuning options. Likewise, the Pro Charger setups I've been having for a while, you can now detune them to get low horsepower setups, if you ever want to do something like that. The maximum numbers are the same, but the minimum numbers can go lower if you want to run a lower horsepower setup. And nothing has changed down here, that's all normal. And last thing for Blackmagic is the paints have been updated, so they now have more contrast, or a little bit brighter, to make the decals have some extra pop to them. The last thing relating to Blackmagic is that the 12K version will be put into base adjustable add-ons this coming update. I was thinking about having it in its own pack, like how Afterlife 12K used to be. But Blackmagic 12K and Afterlife 12K will now both be part of base adjustable add-ons, so this does mean if you have Afterlife 12K optional download.zip, you should remove it to avoid conflicts in the future. And I said last thing like a second ago, but last thing for this, I guess not specific to Blackmagic, but if we take a look at the headers, I have the Blackmagic options headers on Merlin now as well. They used to only be on Ford, now they are on the Merlin as well. As well as the wide headers, those are meant for CRD 3. Because normal upsweeps do clip CRD 3 chassis, so that should fix that issue. Let's go ahead, throw Blackmagic into a wall to see how strong it is, because I haven't done that in a minute. Pretty strong, only broke 2 knuckles and 1 suspension. Oh yeah, I have a posi disc, so that won't really work. Where can I throw it that will be better for, like, storing the trucks for the later parts of the video? I think this will be a good spot. Beautiful. If we see flames from over here, I think we will know why. Next up is the Ram truck. I'm going to give this a quick run, see if you can notice anything different about it. It is certainly quieter than Blackmagic. But what's that in the engine bay? Oh yes. If you haven't guessed by now, this is a all-new Hemi engine. The 555 cubic inch BDS blower equipped Hemi. It's monstrously powerful, super fast, and many people have been wanting the Blaze Pack Hemi to be fixed for basically ever since the sounds were selectable, because it doesn't have the sound slot. I'm half sure it doesn't even drive anymore, because I'm not sure if it even has a fuel tank slot. So, you know, that's less than good. This engine is completely up to date. So if we open up the parts menu, go to the engine, here there's the 555 cubic inch Hemi engine. We have the engine sound slot, so we can have all of the sounds of CRD. Awesome. The BDS blower, this is the only intake for now, but I may add more in the future, just like how I have done for the other big block engines. If we go to the headers, this has all of the stock Merlin headers. So we have things like the Magnaflows, we have the Vodders, the Zoomies, the Hookers, the Headmans. We have the Gordons as well. We have all those. And I would have really liked to see all of the headers like that normally fit on base Merlin work. But unfortunately, because this is actually a staggered head designed engine, so that means if we take a nice close look down here, we'll see that one bank of cylinders is actually farther ahead than the other. So the left bank is actually farther forward than the right. And that makes it so that you have to stagger the mounts of the headers in order to get it to fit properly. The ends of the headers are all in the same spot, so don't worry about that. So you won't have like mismatching exhaust. But in order to get the mounting correct and, you know, proper, that's what I had to do. And this engine I got from SketchUp, like I do from a lot of my engine mods. It's a really good model. BDS blower looking fine as ever. But it didn't come with any wires, so this is the first time I've ever dipped into messing with wires in Blender. And I think they turned out really good. Like if you zoom in real close like, I think it looks fantastic. Got them all snaking around the blower, going right into the distributor. So, a little bit more about the engine. Because it's a bigger Hemi engine, and the regular Hemi engine is already super powerful, this is even more powerful. So stock horsepower rating for this is almost 1700. And I asked NKS Nathan, like, what do they run? They say they run 2000 horsepower from their Hemi, so I'm in the ballpark. And don't forget, this is BeamNG, so if we go to the tuning menu, we can just go down to the supercharger and crank it up to get even more power. I'll leave that for you all to decide and discover how much power you can make with the Hemi. So, selectable sounds, working Hemi, more powerful Hemi, and beautiful looking Hemi. What more do you want? Well, one thing I am going to do in the future for my either community event or like multiplayer series, league, whatever, is I'm going to make like league specific engines that all have like set horsepowers or set RPMs or set tuning that you can't adjust too much, just so that we have a very even playing field for the future. But I haven't done anything like that to show off yet, and I'm not sure it'll be even in this update, but that's a future plan of mine. Let me know what you think. League specific engines to get very even results in racing. Let's go ahead and add to our little collection over here. We don't quite make it as far as Blackmagic. We only have 2 gears instead of 3, but we can let you hide here. Next up is my pure race chassis and suspension. There's not too much to go over about this. I haven't changed any of the numbers except for a couple of the defaults since last time. But the pure race chassis and the V12 chassis with the Merlin engine from an airplane, they have been moved to their own pack. So Blackmagic 12K and the Merlin V12 engine used to be in one pack, but now Blackmagic 12K has been moved to base adjustable add-ons. But I still wanted to leave this pack here. It's going to be called Game Boy 3800 Specialized CRD add-ons, or something like that. And what that'll do is have specialized chassis like this, or for super big engines like the airplane engine. And I will show that in just a moment. And this is my VoodooOmen Pure Race setup, if you haven't seen it before. It runs the slam suspension and the slam chassis where the cradle is raised like 2 feet. And it looks pretty wonky, and it handles even wonkier, but it is very fast for going around a racing circuit. Bonk. Oh. I wanted to do something cool like climb the containers, but I am stuck, and that's a pretty sad way to end. Give it up for VoodooOmen, though. These signs like to eat tires, I guess. Next up, we move to Front Engines pack, because there are some things coming to Willman in it. First of all, Front Engine Zoomies. Yes, many people requested this, and I'm very proud to announce that they are here at last. Now, I have just noticed one bug I need to fix with this. If I go to here, one of the exhausts seems to go down, and I can't figure out why. I will figure out eventually. But front engine zoomies, they mostly work. These fit the skinny Max D body here, but if you put on the 3D spike body or really any other body, they will clip. But that is why I also, if we go to the engine here, take a look at the headers, I have added the wide zoomie headers option as well to clear more bodies. I think the only body that can have zoomies without clipping is the El Toro Loco body because it's just so wide. So yeah, other than that, the front engine zoomies seem like they're ready to go. And before you ask, yes, I did tell Hank and really everybody else about the extra exhaust going down. What did they do about it? Absolutely nothing. It's not like I told them that last minute. I told them like almost a year ago. Gotta love when developers don't listen to beta testers. Oh well. Oh my. Yeah, Willman is still Willman, and it does still let you do some wacky stuff. So it's still fun. I just don't think this is a very well polished mod at all. Over we go. Yeah, we have a very confusing exhaust situation. I'll just say that much. Alright, well, next up we have the rear engine Harper Willman chassis, whatever it's called. This is going to be coming to front engine add-ons pack. It's a little bit ironic, but trust me, it makes sense because I also do have a rear engine specific engine mods and front engine chassis pack. Purely because I did some chassis mods back then to allow them to fit. Like just bigger engine bays and stuff. This is similar. I moved a couple of the bars. I didn't delete any bars though in this. I just moved the bars to make the engine almost fit. I think in real life it's supposed to sit higher. But oh well, this is good enough. It does handle very differently. I really would like to see how people drive on this. You get the F350 and the Escalade body on this chassis. And this is the Merlin engine on Willman. Well, almost. I don't know why some of the engine props are behind the engine, but let's just ignore that for now. Headers, we got a few header options. We've got the Zoomie, Magnaflows, and hookers. I did have Headman headers in like early testing, but they, for whatever reason, just broke the right side tires off. So I decided to omit those for final release for now. Will I ever figure it out or fix it? Maybe. Will I care? Probably not. So yeah, different handling Willman and Zoomies Willman updates coming out soon. That was a solid flip. Bonk. We move over to the left lane now. And now we're going to discuss the V12 airplane engine. And it's pretty much the same as the Pure Race chassis. It has been moved from its like Blackmagic 12K Community Event Winner Edition pack to now be in the Specialized Chassis pack. So here you can see it in the parts menu, Specialized Engine Mod CRD Chassis. And this is home to the Merlin V12 and just go ahead and give this a good send here. I've shown this off enough in the past, so I'm not going to go over it too much. There's no other changes. That's your home now. So the V12 Merlin and the 727 Chevy ProCharge drag engine. Since you last saw it, I have moved it up so it no longer gets eaten by the 4-link bars. At the expense of now the engine block is orange. I don't know why that is. All I did was move it, but now it's orange. Game is busted. But if we almost ignore that, this drag queen truck can go mighty fast in a straight line. This is detuned and it's making way over 4,000 horsepower. Can you believe it? You can do wacky stunts or throw it onto the drag strips at Grid Map or West Coast USA and set some fast pass times. This isn't meant for regular freestyle runs, but you can still do some wacky stuff. Or perhaps even wackier stuff than normal. Drag Queen's on a new truck though. I think Cakery helped me out with that, so thanks again. Next we move to probably my favorite preset of the update. I call this preset Absolutely Busted. It may have a custom paint job by Skinner by final release, but this is how it'll perform. It has 5,200 horsepower. Give it a minute, give it a minute. There we go. Takes a while to start because it's got so much power. If we go to the engine mods, first of all, the pure race chassis can have both the Ford and Merlin customizable engine, so that's cool to see. Second, if we go to the transmission and look at the transmission options, what was once upon a time the 3-speed race transmission in beta testing has now evolved into the 3-speed cheater transmission. What does this do? Well, there's only one way to go about it. It's absolutely busted. And that's the name of the preset. It is impossible to keep all 4 tires on the ground. With no run-up, you can clear whole stadiums. It's completely busted. Absolutely busted, one would say. And it makes the pure race chassis into an abomination. In truth, though, it makes anything an abomination. So you can put this chassis onto a naturally aspirated intake, or this transmission into a naturally aspirated intake, and you know, it'll make it feel way more powerful than it actually is. So it's cool for like very low horsepower setups to make them actually drivable. But for very high horsepower setups, it makes it completely undrivable. Like, I am almost never on the power here. He can do some wacky stuff like that. This is one of my favorite mods I've ever done, just this transmission. Like, this isn't even close to the max horsepower you can get out of the Ford customizable engine, and it's already doing that. So imagine what it can do with, like, 11,000 horsepower that the Ford customizable is capable of. That is quite the pile of trucks, but there is one more to go. If we go back to the start, there's one special truck left to go. And I teased it in a community post, but now you're going to see it in full. This is World Finals Edition, Blackmagic. Let's go ahead and get a nice look at the roof here. The roof has a custom Voodoo logo that was not easy to make. And then we got inverted colors for the tires, the Lexan, and the body. A lot of custom gamma correction tuning as well. Custom flag, custom engine cover as well even. And this one is on the CRD 3 chassis because it's on the CRD 3 customizable chassis. Let's go ahead and give it a run. This tune uses 2 superchargers, but because we can now detune the superchargers, it's actually possible to get 2 superchargers to work within the bounds of my normal events. So 1755 maximum horsepower is what we can get and have a stupid number for the torque. Low RPM, and actually for the kerosene fuel system I did edit that so that the you can lower the idle all the way down to 1,000. Why? I don't know. just to make it sound even cooler with Blackmagic sounds. Because if you didn't know, Blackmagic sounds are their own thing. They're an even louder version of indie sounds that can be boosted to 50 decibels. I think that's already a thing in the 7.1 public version. But if they're not, that'll be another feature in 8.0. And one last thing about this tune is it is 16K quality. Or not the tune, the paint. 16K quality paint just to mess with people with low spec computers. I'm just kidding about that. But if you have a low spec computer, you may find it hard to run. That is about it for now, everybody. I do hope you all enjoyed. All these things you've seen, and throughout the past, month or so of me teasing the updates as I get progress done, should be out sometime in February, but like I said at the beginning of the video, I will be moving throughout February and possibly even early March. So I may not have anything new to show until then. I'm still working on a couple of kinks, or quirks I should say. I guess kinks too. The electric motor is still completely busted. Like, it just doesn't drive at all. And, I've looked into it quite extensively. I don't think it's possible to get the electric motor fully working again on CRD. Because for base game vehicles, it goes right through into the differentials. But for us, because our differential goes through a planetary and then a transfer case, and then eventually a torque converter in the engine, it's just too many hoops to jump through for the electric system, and it just doesn't know what to do. Before, I was able to just make it act like a normal engine that was electric, and use the stock gearbox options. Running low on fuel here. Out of fuel. But yeah, that's the story with the electric motor. I may not be able to get that working, so I may have to remove it for final release. The hybrid transmission for front engines back there should still work, because actually, in code, it's just coded to boost the engine horsepower. It's not actually a hybrid system. Likewise, for the twin superchargers, it's not actually twin superchargers. The left one is coded to be a turbo, because BeamNG doesn't actually allow twin superchargers or twin turbos for that matter. Twin turbos is just coded as one big turbo, and that's why it's so out of date. And that's why the game can just feel so old sometimes. Anyways, enough about me ranting about the game and complaining about things that are busted. When can you expect this pack update? February or March. Will I have other things to show? I don't think so, but I said that last time. And now here we are, like 30 minutes into this video. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I will be streaming tomorrow around 4 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. That's it for now. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you're watching this as a premiere, then I guess hello and goodbye. I'll see you all in the past. Goodbye, everybody. Like, favorite, comment, share, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well for more. Bye-bye. Bye.